Instead of spending money on a new plastic shelf, I decided to reuse 3 old plastic baskets at home and turn them into a simple 3-tier shelf for the bathroom corner. At first, I only wanted something temporary to organize my stuff. But after finishing it, I realized it was way more useful than I expected. First, I prepared 3 plastic baskets in the same size and stacked them vertically to create a simple 3-tier shelf frame. Then I used hot glue to secure the contact points between each basket so they would hold together firmly and not shift around during use. To make the shelf more stable and sturdy, I cut a green pool noodle into small pieces and glued them between the baskets using hot glue. The foam pieces work like cushions, creating space between each tier while also helping keep the baskets from sliding or shifting when stacked together. Once the glue dried, the 3 baskets held together firmly as one solid piece. Since the baskets are lightweight, this method was quick and didn't require any drilling or complicated screws. At the bottom, I attached 4 small wheels to the corners of the lowest basket. Thanks to the wheels, I can easily move the shelf around whenever I clean the floor or want to change its position. This is actually my favorite part because bathrooms are usually small, and having wheels means I don't have to lift the whole heavy shelf anymore. After finishing it, I organized different items on each tier. The top tier is for storing extra toilet paper. Whenever I need a new roll, I can grab one right away instead of searching around for it. The middle tier is where I keep rolled-up bath towels and hand towels. The bottom tier is for shampoo, body wash, hand soap, and other everyday personal care products. Having everything in one place makes the bathroom look cleaner and also makes cleaning much easier. Sometimes, with just a little creativity, simple everyday items can turn into something really useful that makes your living space neater and more comfortable every day. The cabinet for pots and pans used to be really messy because pans, lids, and trays were always stacked on top of each other. Every time I wanted to take one item out, I had to lift the whole stack, which took time, made a lot of noise, and sometimes scratched the cookware. I tried using 2 adjustable tension curtain rods inside the cabinet, and it surprisingly made everything much more organized. I installed the 2 rods horizontally and parallel inside the cabinet to create separate sections for standing lids, pans, and cutting boards upright. Since they're adjustable tension rods, I just twisted them into place between the cabinet walls without drilling or using screws. Each lid or pan stays upright and easy to grab. Cooking oil, soy sauce, and chili sauce bottles placed directly on the counter can easily drip and make the kitchen surface feel greasy. I started using a small plastic tray to keep all the condiment bottles together, and the kitchen instantly looked cleaner and more organized. Any extra oil or sauce stays inside the tray instead of dripping onto the counter, which makes cleaning much easier. When it's time to clean, I just lift the whole tray and wipe the counter once, instead of moving each bottle one by one like before. This also helps prevent greasy stains and unpleasant smells from building up on the counter. Whenever I cook, I can simply pull out the tray and have everything I need right in front of me. The glass on the oven door is one of the areas that easily collects grease, food residue, and burnt stains after many uses. If left too long, the buildup becomes thicker, making the oven look old and much harder to clean with a regular cloth. I tried cleaning it with a dishwasher tablet and was surprised at how simple and effective this method was. First, I prepared a small bowl of water and a dishwasher tablet. I lightly dipped the tablet into the water just enough to soften the surface a bit. There's no need to soak it too long because it dissolves pretty quickly. When wet, the tablet creates a light foam that helps loosen grease and break down stubborn stains on the glass. After a short time, the cloudy marks and dried grease started coming off noticeably. For older, stubborn spots, I simply added a little more water and scrubbed again, and it cleaned up much better. Once finished, I wiped the glass several times with a damp cloth to remove all the foam and leftover residue. Finally, I dried it with a clean towel, and the oven door looked much clearer and shinier. I like this method because it's quick, doesn't require spraying lots of chemicals, and still makes the oven door look significantly cleaner. Sometimes, simply making use of things you already have at home can make kitchen cleaning so much easier. After washing my kitchen towels, I used to hang them over the faucet or the edge of a chair to dry. But it always looked messy, and the towels took longer to dry and icily developed a damp smell. Then I tried using the oven rack to hang my kitchen towels, and it turned out to be much more convenient. I placed the oven rack over the sink in a corner of the kitchen and hang the towels directly over the bars. The open gaps allow better airflow, so the towels dry faster and don't trap odors as much compared to folding or stacking them together. What I like most is being able to reuse something I already had at home without buying extra hooks or a separate drying rack for the kitchen. Sometimes, simply using everyday items in a different way can make them much more useful. I'm reusing this old cardboard box to make a drawer organizer. First, I divided the box into 3 separate sections before cutting, so the cardboard pieces would be more even and easier to assemble. Before starting, make sure to measure the height of your drawer first, because if the pieces are too tall, the drawer won't close. And if they're too short, everything will look messy. After measuring, I cut the cardboard into long strips and made small slots in the middle, so the pieces could slide into each other like a grid. Once assembled, I instantly had a super useful organizer for socks, underwear, or small items inside the drawer. Everything has its own spot, so the drawer looks much tidier, and you don't have to dig through the whole thing whenever you need something. What I love most is that this method costs almost nothing, since you're just reusing an old cardboard box. But it makes the inside of the drawer look so much more organized. Don't throw away your 1-liter milk cartons after finishing them, because the caps often fit perfectly on many regular plastic or glass jars in the kitchen. Just remove the cap section and attach it to a jar, and you instantly have a super convenient pouring container. It's such a simple trick, but surprisingly useful, especially for storing rice, cereal, beans, spices, or other dry ingredients you use every day. Instead of struggling to pour things out and accidentally spilling them everywhere, now you can just open the small cap and pour smoothly, much faster and way less messy. Your kitchen shelves will also look more organized and uniform, And you get to reuse things you already have at home instead of spending money on special storage containers.